Colors! Out! Out! Present! On!
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem will be sung by Chief Conetta Harper.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
At the time, I was a junior second-class missile tech stationed on the Wyoming up in the shipyard for initial construction, and I was volunteered to go do a Christmas patrol on Mike's boat. Within the first few minutes of stepping on board the USS West Virginia, the first person I met was Mike. At the time, he was a first-class petty officer, and he was the leading division petty officer. After a quick introduction, he just asked me, what are your expectations for this patrol? What do you want out of this? And I told him I was there to get qualified. He told me what his expectations were for me over the next few months, and then I got to work. Over the course of the patrol, what started as a rider stuck in his division relationship turned into more of a friendship. We started talking about long-term goals. And for those of you who have been in uniform, second-class petty officers don't have long-term goals. But Mike already had his goals laid out. Mike had a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan laid out. He knew what he was going to do, and he knew where he was going, but more importantly, he knew how he was going to do it. And I kind of looked at him and said, I need to be like that guy. So I finished up that patrol. I went back to the shipyard, kind of forgot about that. A few months later, I received a group letter of commendation. Back then, it used to be worth 2 points on a rating exam. And I thought, well, that was really nice of Mike to write me a letter. I appreciated it, and I forgot about it and went on my day-to-day business. A few months after that, the results for the first-class rating exam came out. I got selected for first-class petty officer, and I made the cutoff by 1.5 points. I was glad I met him, and I'm glad I did that Christmas patrol. But more importantly, as most of you know, the transition from second to first opens up a whole new world of opportunity for you to go off and do things, and I exploited that. I hit the ground running. Every time they offered me a position, I took it and I ran. Fast forward a few more years, Mike gets commissioned in 1999, I get commissioned the following year. I've always been about a year behind Mike in my career. That was one of my first defining moments. I call these things defining moments. It was one of my first defining moments in the Navy. I had committed to long term, I was going to make it a career. I knew what I wanted and I went after it. And I had a great mentor to talk to and use as a sounding board. And that's how Mike and I first met. Over the last 25 years, as we've gone to different locations, to different jobs, we've always kept in touch. One of the things that you won't hear about today and you won't see in the program when we talk about Mike's great 35 years is defining moments, his impact on other people. I'm just one of many people that Mike had a defining moment with. That's why I'm very honored he chose me to be part of this ceremony and to share this time, so I thank you, Mike. Commander Welz, Michael, or Mike to those of us who know him best, joined the Navy at a very young age, 16 and a half. He did that through the delayed entry program out of Cincinnati, Ohio back in June of 1983. While still in school and prior to officially going to boot camp, Mike was able to recruit 2 more sailors, played softball for the Navy team, and then finally in March of '84, he went off to boot camp. As you can see in the program, Commander Welz quickly took to the Navy way of life.
But thanks for being here today. I would especially like to say thank you to the family, to the friends. I know that Tom read all of the names of all who are here, but just let me put this in a little bit of perspective, and I'll talk more in a second about the family. But we've got family here that traveled here, mom and dad from Ohio. We've got family that traveled here from Florida. Oldest daughter, I believe, came from Salt Lake, Utah. So, I think that speaks volumes, and I will talk about that a little bit more in a little while. And I also think it speaks volumes that as we were asked to prepare for this, and Tom read it, what Mike thinks about his family. And the fact that he not only asked us to recognize the folks that were present, but as importantly, the folks that couldn't be here physically because they're spread across the country, and also the ones that are here with us in spirit because they departed this planet, but they are still with us every single day. So Mike, that speaks volumes about you as an individual. So thank you for that. Because I graduated in 1984, and that's where he enlisted. And in 1984, I'd just like to give you a couple data points from when Mike came into the Navy. So in 1984, actually SSP, we were originally called the Strategic Systems Project Office. In 1984 is when we actually changed our name to Strategic Systems Program Office. So we broke ground in this program at the Trident Training Facility at Naval Submarine Base in Kings Bay, Georgia. So Mike, you've been here from the start. So, and then of course, Mike enlisted in the United States Navy the same year. Little did you know that your first duty as you went to training command up in Great Lakes, that would be the last time that you lived close to home. So now, I'm not sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing for you coming in, but certainly it was the last time he lived close to home in his 35-year career. So following that, he did additional schooling and then obviously reported to the Vallejo. And here's what's interesting about when he was on the Vallejo. So for those of us that wear the Dolphins, whether it be gold or silver, we know that that is a very arduous process. It's not something that you do overnight. It typically takes most of us, normal folks, a year or so to do. It took Mike 90 days. Yeah, exactly. I heard a while. So, to get qualified back then, and we can say those were the good old days, right, Mike? So, but to get qualified in 90 days on a submarine, to learn all the things that happen on that submarine, to say that you deserve to wear Dolphins regardless of what color they are, is truly phenomenal. And I think that set the course for everything that would follow for you, Mike. That standard, that learning, that discipline to get you there. So thank you for that. Then he went to the PMO in detachment in Utah, again, where he was involved in testing our rocket motors, inspecting our rocket motors, all those things that went on. And I think he also got a little bit involved in the Delta, as well as some NASA project as well. So again, there's a theme here. Tremendous opportunity to go and not just contribute, but to learn and gain knowledge. So, and then in 93, we heard he reported back to the West Virginia. And then subsequent to that, he was hand-selected by SP-205. And in April of 96, he was one of only 3 first class out of 400 MT-1s that were competing for that billet that got selected to come to SP. So he qualified, I did not know this, so he qualified as the DASO team leader as an MT-1. And he led 2 DASO operations as the charge of cadre of chiefs as well as officers running all of these things and really running that team. So stepping up as a first class to take all of us that think we know better and to keep us in line, truly phenomenal as a first class. And I think overall you're trying to 205, 7 DASOs, 5 F-sets, and 25 mini DASOs. That's a pretty impressive record. And obviously we knew how busy we were back then. And then, as you heard, in 99, he was selected to the LDO program, and he was commissioned as an ensign in March of 2000. So, as an ensign, again, common theme, Mike continued to grow, Mike continued to learn, Mike continued to help others. And he was hand-selected in 2002 to be the D5 production officer at SwiftPack. And for those of us who know SwiftPack and know what it takes to be a production officer, that is no easy task. Particularly not as you've just gotten commissioned, going into a command like that and running that. So then as he went there, he then spent 2 years at the Trident Training Facility in Kings Bay, Georgia, helping others learn, helping others understand how to deploy our submarines. And then he returned, as we heard, to West Virginia to be the Assistant Weapons Officer. Now, I got to tell you, me being I was not a nuclear trained submarine officer, right? I was a strategic weapons engineer. So I fully appreciate the value of having someone like you with so much experience as an assistant weapons officer concentrating on the most important thing on that submarine. Phenomenal. And that's what LDOs do. That's what you guys are bred to do. And Mike did that in spades. He did that perfectly and made sure that that boat not only had 5 successful strategic deterrent patrols, not only did he get his gold dolphins, and you didn't tell me how fast you got them when you, 1 year? Okay, so you went back to the norm. Thank you. But as importantly, he got the squadron, or the Strategic S award on board that boat when he was there. And there is no doubt, Mike, that I know that was because of what you were doing there as the assistant weapons officer on that boat. So good on you. And then he went to Swiftland, No. 2, multiple jobs there, and then he finally came back home to SP headquarters in 2015, where he has done a phenomenal job in a couple of different areas, right? As the missile branch deputy, and then most recently, prior to me getting here, as Admiral Benedict had asked him to stand up and be the interim program manager for the Enterprise Information Management Program. Now, you got to say, Enterprise Information, limited duty officer, all this ordnance experience, what does he know about that? I kind of asked that same thing when I got here. What do you know about that? But in all honesty, Mike has done that tremendously well. So well that I think it might have been a little bit of a catalyst. He went back and got a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration. And so he now has that under his belt as well. And so it doesn't stop there, because Mike is now currently working on his master's in systems engineering, and he's working to become a PMP professional. So I hope you get the theme here, that Mike's career has not only been about excellence, but it's been about what I tell everyone I believe a true leader does, which is you help others and you continually learn. You continually grow. And Mike, you have shown that throughout your career, not just in how you help others, but how you have also personally grown and taken on that challenge and pushed yourself to the next milestone. So I could not be prouder and thankful for what that means to this organization.
Know ye throughout the United States Navy, as such a special mark of gratitude, she is entitled to wear the submarine insignia. Further, she is entitled to all privileges of a submarine lady, and I do strictly charge and require all members of the submarine force to render her every courtesy and their highest esteem, and I do encourage them to assist her in any manner within their capability, whenever the opportunity arises, by the normal tenets of chivalry or by actual necessity. For though at sea her spouse may roam, she valiantly serves her ship at home. Done on this 25th day of April, in the year of our Lord 2019, signed Johnny Wolf Jr., Vice Admiral, United States Navy, Director, Strategic Systems Programs.
Is one of the things that I've learned to embrace my whole career. As a missile technician second class, I foolishly saw the SB-205 people and I looked at them with awe. And I said, one day I'm going to be that. And then when I was in 205, I saw the branches and I did all the different projects. And I said, I'm going to be the 27th deputy someday. And of course, some of my friends were like, yeah, right, whatever. Right? But I laid out that plan. And with God's grace and help, I got there. I truly recognize that life has its seasons, and a lot of us have been through all the seasons this past 35 years. My family and I have been through a lot of seasons. In our deployments, in our medical issues, and all the trials and tribulations that all of the people that are in the service go through. I know that the challenges that SSPA has had before to perform the strategic deterrence and safeguarding of the most powerful weapon system on the planet. I think the key that Admiral Wolf is trying to do with not only within SSP but with the industry partners is to understand the difference between inclusiveness and exclusiveness, and understand the value of how strong inclusiveness is. So I highly recommend you read that book. So here's the family part. Mom and Dad, you have given me the foundation and high standards for my life. Daddy, growing up in our house, there was always love, support, and understanding. You were always there to cheer my successes and to pick me up when I failed, especially those phone calls. I thank you both for always being there when I needed to call or visit, and that I was always welcome home so I could find a solution to my problems. Mom, here's a small token of my appreciation. I want you to know that I love you both very much. Dad, I haven't told you this enough, but you've always been the example for me. I mean, from being a former Marine to a 26-year retired firefighter. It's been a true blessing in my life and our lives. And we appreciate all the support that you've given us over the years. Thank you for allowing us to stay in Florida while we go through this transition with no house, a job hopefully soon. And understanding that the next part of our journey will always be there. We love you. And also today, Robin's Aunt Gail is here. We love you too. To my closest friends that took the time to be here today, Fred Getter, Jim Moreno, Mark Lassiter, and many others, thank you for your continued support and friendship, and always being there to keep my spirits up when I'm down or trouble, or just going out to sing some karaoke to blow off some steam. To my children, Aaron, Haley, and Noah, you each are a true blessing from God in our lives, and it is so wonderful to see each of you grow up in your own unique personalities and gifts that you have to offer the world. I thank you for allowing me to have this Navy career and to go to sea for long periods of time. Please know that that was my duty, my job, and I regretted that I could not be home like other fathers to watch you grow. I'll always have you in my heart wherever I go, and I'm proud of each of you. I love you both all, and I will always be there for you. Aaron and Haley, please accept these flowers as a token of my love for you. Know I have something for you later. Promise. To my grandson, Bridger, I'm very proud of you, beloved. We can see through the eyes of not only you, your mother and me, but through the different things that you're doing that you're going to become a great little man. Please know that Grandpa loves you and will always be there for you. I love you, Bridger, man. And finally, the hard part, to my lovely wife, Robin. You are a true angel that was sent from heaven the day we met, as I look back. Your love, compassion, and friendship are what makes life worth living. I know it has been rough at times, and you have had to come through very independent states on my deployments. But you are a true warrior, and your sacrifice is not unrecognized by me and all here today. Thank you, my love. You are my rock and my best friend. I love you. I know you are ready for our next adventure together. In closing, I wanted to tell you one final story, and I have a request after this. When I was growing up, I used to watch a television show in the afternoons called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I enjoyed this program because of the positive message it gave me, even as a child, that I was worth something. And it helped me by talking to my parents to understand that worth and to plan and to really understand what was my purpose and what was I going to grow up into. At the age of 16 and a half, I decided that I was going to be in the Navy, and that was it. Well, one year, the man behind the neighborhood was Fred Rogers. And in 1969, the public broadcasting system was running out of money, which meant the program was in jeopardy. So the PBS broadcasting president, vice president, and all the staff went in front of the Senator Pastore. Senator Pastore, what a guy. He turned them down flat. Then Fred asked, let me talk to him. He laid out not only what his plans were, but he laid out how the impact of the plans were. And then he sung a song of what that was. And in 6 minutes, he turned Senator Pastore's icy heart into mush. And in 6 minutes, what they couldn't do in 6 days, he got $6 million in 1969 to continue on with the PBS. And their show continued. Fred Rogers continued that all the way through into the 1990s. And in 1997, he won an Emmy because of all the different things that he did. And what he did at the Emmy Awards was something I want to replicate here now. He didn't talk about himself. He didn't talk about anything but the positive message that he brought. But he also wanted you to share the experience. I want you to as well. So what I'd like you to do is just to think back and think of all the people that supported you in your career, in your life. And I want you to remember them. And I just want to take 10 seconds so you can just concentrate on that. I'll keep time. Whomever you've been thinking about, keep that thought and their spirit in your heart. And I'm sure that they would be pleased to know the difference that you feel they've made in your life. Now you know just a little bit of how I feel today. Thank you all for being here to share this celebration with my family and me today. May God bless you, SSP, and the United States Navy, and our great nation. Thank you.